Just us? Probably Los Angeles.
Yeah, Chicago was fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Work trips. Whenever, like, Lucas used to go to work trips. Hopefully they'll start those up this year. But I'd get to go along, and he would do his work conferences, but then we would also get to eat at awesome restaurants and just have a lot of fun and go watch movies, and it was really fun. So yeah, that was a fun trip. Okay.
It's just like what we were talking about earlier. There's not much that's really worth getting in a fight. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either.
If I get mad, I leave. And
but you never walked out. You never like slammed the door.
No, it's just, I just don't really find a lot of reason to fight. It's just not there.
Yeah. Like the big things where we agree on major big things. The only things we're very different on is like food and like, you know, things that are silly. So the big things we're usually on the same page, or we're not too far, you know, we can kind of see where the other person's coming from. I read that question earlier and I was thinking about it. When we were living in Columbia, Missouri, we were pregnant with Liam. We were both changing jobs and moving our parents. It wasn't really a hard year of marriage, it was a hard year of life.
You talking about moving down to Little Rock?
Yes. Yeah. It was just a lot of change all at once, and I had to go down first by myself.
Yeah, we were apart for a couple months. Or a month, I guess.
It was like a month, and I was like third trimester pregnant with Liam, and we were living in a townhouse before we found our actual house. And so we were looking for a house, finding jobs, having a baby. I had to change my OB. So it wasn't really a hard year of marriage. It was just a hard year of like change. Residency. It was just crazy. I don't know. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was fine with whatever she wanted.
I remember when we first had the conversation, and I was like, so what do you think about a large family? Like how many kids do you think you want? And I think I probably said I think I want like 4 or more.
You said 7.
Did I say 7? And I remember you were like, okay, or like you were on board with it, and I was like doing a happy dance in my head. I was so excited. I think we just always knew that after residency, that's kind of what would happen. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a time where we had 6 kids and I was still working at a hospital, and there was a time when I was still working at the hospital that it didn't really register that I would never not be doing that, and so I thought about working after we moved here, but then when it actually happened, it just didn't seem like that was the right decision, and I love staying home with the kids. It feels very natural. You know that it's not the thing. It's not like it's not fishing or camper flipping or hunting or whatever their hobby is. It's what it does for the person. You know, like fishing is like a break where he can go and think about nothing and enjoy and well, I mean, think about fishing, and it's competition with himself, and same with hunting or any sport. I think it's healthy for both people to have a hobby, because then you really understand it. Because like the excitement that I get from camper flipping, if that's like half the excitement he gets from fishing, then he needs to go fishing more often, because it is so good for you to just go and do your thing. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, just understand that that's what they love doing.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's not that they don't love being with their family. Like, you know, whenever you're fishing, I don't feel like, oh, he doesn't like being with us, he'd rather be fishing. It's that he's going to recharge and then come home and like be extra excited to be home, you know? That's kind of how I am. When I get a little break, I'm extra excited to be home again.
You know, if you're gonna have kids, you really got to make sure that well, if you got family around, that's helpful. That's big. We got the grandparents are both here, and you know that makes a big difference. And the other thing is, you know, as much as I don't want to bring up money, but if you don't, kids can put a financial stress on you big time, which can lead to problems. And if you don't have the money to do it, you know, maybe wait until you do. I'm not telling you if you don't have enough money to not have kids, but it can create an extra level of stress in the house. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and just pray about it. I mean, if one person wants more kids and the other doesn't, you kind of have to be on the same page with that. So kind of have to just pray for the right answer on that.
You stop and think realistically about it,
Yeah.
rather than Karla makes it look like it's very easy. I know, but it's not. And you just got to think realistically about what your life will be like with a bunch of kids versus if you can actually do it, if you can actually, happily do it, and what sort of effects that's going to have on your spouse and everything else. So sometimes it's hard to see those things through all of the beautiful things about having big families. So. We met in high school.
Yeah, we originally met in high school. We didn't get together until after college, but we originally met in high school and kept up with each other all those years. And then when we reconnected, it was very, very instant. And then the rest is history. Yeah. That's kind of a tricky one. We have a lot of good memories.
Yeah.
One that comes to mind is that LA trip when we rented a Porsche and drove up the West Coast. That was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
That was really fun. That whole trip was fun. I don't know, like Disney was fun. We have a lot of good ones.
Before kids?
Yeah.
Didn't feel like there was before
I
kids.
know, was there before kids? I'd probably say like old sorority days. Like when we'd go to the exchanges and get to like dress up head to toe in like costume and...
I think they mean like when we were together.
Oh. I was like, well, before kids is pretty much before us. They kind of go hand in hand.
It's probably our first date.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
That's a good memory.
seafood place.
Yeah. It's so cute. Like, I didn't know that Lucas remembered what I was wearing. And like years later, I put on, I think it was the same outfit. And he made a comment that that's what I was wearing on our first date. And I had to think, and I was like, you're right. How did you remember that? It was cute. I don't know. For the first time in ever, like I actually feel like complete with our family. So whether or not we have more kids, I'm 100% okay with that.
It's up to her.
I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't really have a basis for comparison, so it's
Kind of what you do.
It wouldn't. Karla makes everything work and works smoothly, so I wouldn't. I don't know. I love my life the way it is. So it's work is hard, yes, but having all the kids to come home to is always wonderful. It is hard to. It is hard to find individual time to have with each kid for something meaningful, and we work so much. But like Karla says, it's more about quality of time that you spend with them over quantity. So,
right. And the kids don't know any different. I mean, they love our time all together as one group, and we'll like cuddle extra with one, and so yeah. It hasn't affected us that much. I mean, I think we live in like a really awesome place where we've been really blessed that it hasn't affected us too much.
Yeah, I mean it obviously affects work and the way things happen at work, but you just kind of accept it and you just kind of carry on and do what you have to do. It makes it hard on the kids. Not being in school was probably the hardest part.
Yeah.
That was extremely difficult.
Yeah, last year.
For the kids and for Karla. How do you deal with that? You just deal with it. It's
try to make the best of it.
You don't freak out and you don't say you can't do it. You just deal with it and take it as it comes and get through it. So.